Hey guys, this is Escoshin4 here. I am back with a new video. I know it's been some time, but I had a lot going on, so I had to take a little break on my videos, but okay, I'm back after like about a week or so. So I'm here to do my recap and review on Dragon Ball Super episode 6 and 7. I am back for that. So let's get started with it. Okay, well, with episode 6, Beerus and Whis arrive on Earth and they confront Vegeta. This episode is where you can actually see the differences between Battle of Gods and Super, because a lot of what's going on, the little things in between, is actually different. Like the same concept, but different things happen. Like this whole sequence where Beerus and Whis arrive and talk to Vegeta is very, very different than Battle of Gods. As he sees Beerus, Vegeta remembers, he remembers him when he sees him. He's like, wait, I remember him when I was a child. He remembered when Beerus kind of punished King Vegeta back in the day, back in Planet Vegeta and everything, and he remembers how powerful he was, and he was just like stomping on King Vegeta's head like he did not care. And so he recalls that, he remembers that. Vegeta's obviously, he's scared because of that. He remembers and he knows how powerful he is. Beerus goes and asks Vegeta, does he know about the Super Saiyan God? And he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about. And from there, Bulma sees Vegeta and Whis and Beerus and kind of invites them and introduces them to the whole party and the whole gang. Vegeta's obviously paranoid, just like Battle of Gods here. He's just very paranoid and he's scared because he knows how he gets angered, he's gonna flip out. So during Bulma's party, Vegeta's all paranoid, like watching everybody and how they treat Beerus and how they welcome him, because he does not want him to get set off. And in this sequence, it's different from Battle of Gods because we see Yamcha introducing himself, and he's all, you know how he is very playful, so he like taps Beerus really hard on the back, and Vegeta's all like freaking scared because he's all like, I don't want him to get pissed off. So, and then Krillin kind of introduces himself and shows him food that they have at the party. Beerus eats it, Vegeta's all scared because he's like, oh, he's not gonna like, what if he doesn't like the wasabi? What if he doesn't like the food? What if he just doesn't like everybody in this party? He's all paranoid. But Beerus ends up liking the food. He loves it. He's actually super in love with the food. And as the party goes on, we see Goten and Trunks playing with water guns. And as they're playing, they spray Beerus by accident. This is also very different. They spray Beerus by accident, and that kind of gets him pissed off and annoyed, and Vegeta's all freaked out. And you know how in Battle of Gods, Vegeta uses the bingo song to distract him, get him, back in a good mood. But in this episode, what he does is actually goes in the ocean and he takes out a huge octopus and he prepares food for Beerus to get him happy, and it works. And then the episode basically ends with Beerus asking Boo for the pudding, and Boo is like, no, I want the pudding, it's all mine, and they fight, and that's similar, that's very similar. But that's basically that whole episode in a nutshell. This one I did like because you can actually notice the differences in this episode with Battle of Gods. Also, animation is so much better than the last episode, like you can't even compare. Like it was just for that one episode that looked really terrible. I mean, they're probably gonna do that again throughout the series in random episodes, but the animation went back up, it looks good again. So I like how they had those cute little differences. I think it's interesting how they changed Vegeta's distraction from like the bingo thing to him making food and preparing food. He's kind of like embarrassing himself, but he's doing it for a good reason, kind of just like in Battle of Gods with the bingo song, but this time he's making food for them, and he's like a chef for like a little bit. It's pretty funny. So I do enjoy these little differences. I'm starting to like kind of like the series a little bit better with these, because I just want to see something, like I said, something different than what we saw in Battle of Gods, and now we're seeing little glimpses of that. I think we see more of that in episode 7 though. So episode 6 leaves off with Beerus and Boo fighting. Boo stands no chance, of course. Beerus just like freaking blows him out of the water. Everybody sees his power, very terrified by his power. But I think in the movie we didn't really see Boo get back up and try to hit Beerus. But in the series we see him get back up, try to hit Beerus. Beerus just, of course, just blows him out again. And now though, Beerus wants to definitely destroy Earth because he's just so pissed he didn't get to have pudding. Which is just like in Battle of Gods, of course. Goten and Trunks fuse, they become Gotenks. This is a little different here. Gotenks says, oh, he needs to protect the Dragon Balls, and then Beerus says, what are Dragon Balls? Are they food? That wasn't in Battle of Gods, that was very different. And it's funny because in this scene, Beerus freaks out on Gotenks because Gotenks says, oh, you're how can you be so mad over just pudding, you know, it's just pudding. And Beerus flips out and he's like, pudding? How can you just say it's just pudding? I'm never going to be able to taste it. And he just goes on a rant on how delicious and fluffy, and he doesn't even know how it is, so he goes on a rant saying like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be fluffy, it could be delicious, it could be, I don't know, all these different kind of textures and flavors. He goes on and on and on and like just ranting at Gotenks, which is pretty funny. I did like that. And you know how in Battle of Gods, Beerus smacks his butt? Well, in this one, instead, he smacks his arm like super hard, like over and over again, and like a big welt comes out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a different thing. I'm surprised I didn't keep the butt part, but this is cool. Another scene that's really different is 18, Piccolo, and Tien kind of team up and try to attack Beerus. We didn't see 18 really in action in Battle of Gods, so it's pretty cool that, I mean, we got to see her do something, or try to do something. Of course, they don't stand a chance. Also, Whis tells Beerus that hold off a little bit on destroying the Earth because he's trying to eat. He wants to eat some more, of course, you know, Whis. And then Boo gets back up again and tries to charge at Beerus and once again slaps him out. We also notice how Dende is actually very aware of the kind of ki that Beerus possesses, and he starts to realize that his ki is the ki of a god, and he basically freaks out about that. Also, a little minor thing is that when Goten and Trunks are fusing to turn into Gotenks, Goten doesn't have his long sleeve shirt. He doesn't have an undershirt like that, which is kind of interesting. I noticed that, just really minor thing, but I noticed it. And since Vegeta feels like, you know, there's nothing else for him to do, he kind of just goes and charges at Beerus and tries to stop him, but he knows he doesn't have a chance, and he's ready to basically die in pride of being defeated by a god, which is just like in Battle of Gods in that part. And then that's where Bulma comes in, intervenes, and Beerus slaps her, and Vegeta turns Super Saiyan and gets enraged. And that's where the episode cuts off. So, like I said, there are some differences in this episode as well. A little bit more, I think, than the last episode. We see a couple added scenes or little differences, like what I told you, Gotenks, the slapping of the arm, and some of the dialogue that between the two, and then the scene where they're all charging at Beerus and everything. 18, Piccolo, and Tien. So there's like a couple differences, but basically it tells the same story. But I like them. It's not like I don't like these little differences. I hope that in the next couple episodes it'll be even more changes, because I would like to see even more changes, to see like a different kind of telling of Battle of Gods. I mean, the whole sequence, the sequence is kind of going the same, but little twerks and tweaks in it, you know what I'm saying? But I am enjoying it. I'm going to keep watching it. So far I am. I feel like it's picking up a little bit. I like some of like the added dialogue or changed dialogue in different scenes, so I am looking forward to seeing more of that. What do you guys think? Did you notice all that? Of course, it's very noticeable. Now it's starting to actually be kind of different. The first couple episodes were kind of almost the same, but now into episode 5 and onward, I've noticed a lot of differences. So I hope it keeps going that way, and let me know what you guys think. And until my next video, guys, peace.